Hello everyone and welcome to Tango Simulations. Today I would like to present you with a mod showcase video for GWX, also known as the Grey Wolves. For those of you who don't know, the Grey Wolves is one of the many super mods available for Silent Hunter 3, and because Silent Hunter 3 is such an old game, it is heavily recommended that you do play with a super mod, because super mods usually do an incredible amount of things that will improve your immersion, that will improve the graphical fidelity, and so on and so on. Now, there is more than one super mod pack. Obviously, there's the Grey Wolves, there is LSH3, which is Living Silent Hunter 3, there is NYGM. Every single super mod decides to focus on a particular area. NYGM, for example, chooses to do away with the eye candy and mostly focus on the raw aspect of the Tonnage War, so a lot more realistic, a lot more grounded, and a lot more difficult. And it's all about you being in your U-boat and sinking targets and engaging in the Tonnage War and trying to survive the war, trying to return home. Living Silent Hunter, I know that it mostly concerns itself with the beauty and the living aspect of Silent Hunter 3, because Silent Hunter 3 is a great simulation, but sometimes the world is empty, the world is dead. Harbors, for example, Living Silent Hunter really tries to amend that with, increased traffic, with new models, NPCs, and so on and so on and so on. I'm not really sure what it does for the realism of the game, because I haven't played with LSH3, but I do know it focuses a little bit more on the beauty aspect of Silent Hunter. And then we've got Grey Wolves. If you guys go to YouTube, in fact, let's do this right now. Let's go to YouTube and search Silent Hunter 3 career. Chances are the first channel we're going to see is Wolfpack. Yep, there we go. Tonsi is another great one, just saying. But the number one player in the Silent Hunter 3 YouTube space is Wolfpack. And if you guys go ahead and watch any of his videos, he plays with GWX. GWX is awesome because, first and foremost, it improves the graphics of the game by quite a bit. So, already you've got a really beautiful U-boat, you've got a really beautiful world, and then you can also supplement it with more visual mods. You can supplement it, for example, with the compilation mode that I've shown you in my mod showcases with, an increased fidelity U-boat skin. You can supplement it with a new environment mode, like, for example, the incredible MEP 6, Manus Environment Pro 6, incredible mod. But even if you don't do any of this, you can already see, guys, GWX3 offers a very beautiful, a very impressive, a very immersive experience, okay? So, if you want to upgrade your graphics, GWX is a very nice place to go. However, GWX doesn't only do graphics, it does realism as well. And although I could possibly try to recite everything out of my memory, to tell you guys every single thing that GWX adds out of my memory, I think the best thing to do is actually go and visit the manual that they've got, and we're going to try and have a brief look through everything GWX adds, and by the time you finish this video, you'll have a very good idea of whether GWX is for you or not, okay? So, starting with the Captain America's officer icons, you can see, guys, that these are the default Silent Hunter 3 icons. GWX by default offers these sort of icons, which are essentially screenshots of the crew members who you've got, and then Captain America decides to do away with this altogether and just provide you with a more functional sort of officer icons thing. And already GWX by default offers enhanced damage effects. So enhanced damage effects, of course, do quite a lot in improving the explosions and the smokes and all these beautiful things that we absolutely love to see when we are playing Silent Hunter 3. So even if you don't use any of the other effects mods, so for example the Silent Hunter 4 effects or the lifeboats mod, GWX already has you covered. And as I said, GWX also increases your immersion. So for example, in the Mediterranean, when you're going to see Luftwaffe, you're going to see them rock Mediterranean camo schemes, right? It makes sense for them to have more browns and darks and darker colors because of the North Africa theater. You've got the open hats mod, which is a really nice sort of immersion boost because you can actually interact with your hatches and see through them. GWX will overall change the steering and the handling of the boat. It will essentially add a little bit of inertia. So, a boat, whether it is a U-boat or destroyer, doesn't really matter. When you start going fast, it's difficult to slow down. When you slow down, it's difficult to accelerate. When you turn full rudder right, for example, and then you want to stop turning, you will have to do this ahead of time because inertia says that your boat is going to resist this change of movement. The engines are revised in GWX. GWX also goes in great length to explain the crew fatigue model. And as you guys can see, different sort of environments have a different sort of impact on the crews. Then of course there is the damage model, which is revised. And as you guys can see, the damage differs based on the different types of ordnance. Then there's also the type of cargo. So if they've got ammunition, for example, obviously it's much easier to explode the whole thing than if they carry lumber or something. The sea state, of course, ships can be damaged or sunk by extremely rough seas, such as in hurricanes. I've seen it happen. And the location of the hit, which again correlates a little bit to the cargo. For example, if you manage to detonate a magazine, obviously you're going to experience one of the most spectacular fireworks show that you've ever seen. GWX also models covered supply ships and U-boat tankers, which is a very realistic way to resupply your U-boat mid-patrol, especially if you're using a Type 7 or Type 9 and you're in the middle of a patrol in the Atlantic and you want to resupply. GWX models new weapons. It models aircraft rockets, which as far as I'm aware don't exist in the vanilla 703. It models lights, which can be extremely annoying and deadly, just like in real life, because they blind you. It simulates mine-laying equipment, and over the course of the war, the British will deploy more and more mines in the sea, especially in the English Channel, so certain approaches will be blocked off. GWX introduces terrain modifications. So Helgoland, for example, is modeled in as much detail as you can possibly cram into Salhada 3, which is not a lot, but it's a lot better than what the vanilla Salhada 3 does. It models the Kiel Canal in great detail, and if you're starting a career with the first flotilla, for example, you'll be using the Kiel Canal in every single sortie because it cuts your journey dramatically. Instead of going through the Skagerrak Straits, you just go through the Kiel Canal, and as the manual states, it also gives you access to a simple command that will automatically plot an outbound route through the Kiel Canal and also an inbound route through the Kiel Canal, which is incredible. Again, more environmental modifications, barrage balloons, shipwrecks, which is quite nice to see in game, and not only do you see the shipwrecks, but they're also marked with buoys, which also have a bell to basically draw your attention and tell you that please don't go there, you're gonna die. You got various different bridges that GWX tries to simulate to the best of its ability. You got dolphins, for crying out loud. Whales are modeled in the game, and you can also hear them in the hydrophones, which is rather hilarious. And then you can see detailed lists about all the different flotillas, their dates, when they started, when they finished, locations, available U-boats, when did they get everything. For example, you can see that Vedigen, the first flotilla, had 2 A's until September 1940. In September 1940, they switched to Type 2Ds, and it wasn't until 1941 that they switched to Type 7Cs, which is quite sad, actually. Then you can see brief histories of the U-boat flotillas. So again, extra information about Flotilla Vedigen, extra information about Salzwedel. As I said before, these flotillas got their names by these incredible captains. So Otto Vedigen, Reinhold Salzwedel, and Johann Sloss, for example. And then the thing that GWX does incredibly well is specific scripted events in the war. So, for example, Operation Weserübung, which is the invasion of Norway. Next up, in Operation Dynamo, anything that happened during the invasion of France, such as the evacuation of the Dunkirk, is modeled. You'll see real operations, you'll see real fleets, real task forces, you'll see air raids. It's incredible how much GWX does to increase the immersion of your playthrough. It really is incredible. And then, again, GWX also, besides the raw graphics, adds more ships. You can see it adds more destroyers, for example, or it will add aircraft carriers, for example, the Graf Zeppelin, which is, unless I'm very much mistaken, the only aircraft carrier Germany ever had, which unfortunately never saw action, or fortunately, depending on who you ask. The battleship Tirpitz, of course, it's revised and as close to the real thing. And as you can see, the Tirpitz will appear randomly starting 1942 and as called by scripted events. If you know what happened to the Tirpitz in real life, you'll be able to trace its wake in the game and see these things unfold in the game in front of your very own eyes. The Gneisenau, same thing. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful model. And then, of course, there are new merchant ships, which is, your bread and butter. As a German U-boat commander, you mainly go after the merchants and the supply ships and stuff. You shouldn't really concern yourself with war targets. Floating dry docks, again, something that GWX brings into play. You can see naval transport barges, and they are going to have new models inside them, like these armored cars, for example. You can see the boats from the D-Day landings. It's insane. It's insane how much GWX brings into the table. You got hospital ships with, clear markings of the Red Cross. And the list goes on and on and on and on. It never ends. It also adds new and remodeled aircrafts. And of course, GWX goes in great length to simulate all the anti-submarine warfare methods that the Allies had access to. So the radars, the radio receivers, also known as HAFTAF, the sonars. It's incredible. It really is incredible how much GWX3 simulates. And believe me when I say that even if you play GWX for years, you will still find things that you have never seen before, that you have never tried before. And this is a testament to how unique and how incredible this little mod here is. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video informative. I hope you understand a bit better what GWX is and why so many people use it, including me. Thanks for signing out. Good hunting.